While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I am your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Lauder. This is episode 326, Mining for Conflict to Increase Intimacy. Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. So happy to have you here. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that might feel a little uncomfortable, but it is absolutely crucial for the health and intimacy of our relationships. And that is mining for conflict. So what does this even mean? Mining for conflict means actively seeking out and addressing underlying issues in a relationship that may not be immediately obvious or causing overt problems. It's about digging beneath the surface to uncover and resolve potential sources of tension or dissatisfaction before they escalate into bigger conflicts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Things are going so well. Why would you want to rock the boat, right? Well, it's natural to want to avoid conflict, especially when everything seems peaceful. But here's the thing. Avoiding conflict doesn't mean it's not there. It just means that we're not addressing it. And when we don't address conflict, we stop growing together as a couple and we have less intimacy. So let's talk about why it's important to mine for conflict and how we can do it in a way that strengthens our relationship rather than causing harm, because the goal here is to improve communication, understanding, and intimacy within the relationship by ensuring that both partners feel heard and that their concerns are addressed. So I want you to think about your relationship like a garden. If you only water the plants on the surface and never tend to the roots or pull the weeds, eventually the garden isn't going to thrive. And the same goes for our marriages. If we only focus on what's on the surface and ignore the deeper issues, our relationship might look good for a while, but it won't flourish in the long run. So when we're willing to dig up those issues, the little annoyances, the misunderstandings, the unmet needs, we create an environment where true intimacy can grow. It's about trusting your spouse enough to be vulnerable and having the safety to bring up concerns. So how do we actually go about mining for conflict without causing a huge blow-up? Here are a few steps. Number one is to take a proactive approach. So instead of waiting for conflicts to arise naturally, you take a proactive approach. This involves regular check-ins with your partner to discuss how each of you is feeling and whether there are any concerns that need to be addressed. Ask each other questions like, is there anything that's been bothering you that we haven't talked about? Or how can I support you better? Number two is creating a safe space. So establish an environment where both partners feel safe to express their thoughts and emotions without fear of judgment or retaliation. And this safety is crucial for honest and open communication. And if you don't have this currently or don't know how to do it, consider getting some help. We want to make sure that you can have this safety that both of you need in order to do this. Number three is to address small issues early. So often, really small annoyances or grievances can build up over time if not addressed. So mining for conflict means tackling these small issues early on, preventing them from growing into larger, more problematic conflicts. Number 4 is to use I statements. So to frame your concerns from your own perspective. So instead of saying, you never listen to me, right? You try saying, I feel unheard when we talk about certain things. This reduces defensiveness and opens up a more productive dialogue. Number 5 is to listen actively. And we had a podcast about this a couple of months ago. But when your partner brings up an issue, listen without interrupting. Validate their feelings and try to understand their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. It's okay to not agree with their perspective, but really validate that it is their perspective. It's how they see things, and make sure you're listening actively to do so. Number 6 is deepening understanding. So by exploring and discussing potential conflicts, partners can gain a deeper understanding of each other's needs, desires, and perspectives. And this process can lead to greater empathy and connection. And then number 7 is building trust and intimacy. So when partners feel confident that they can bring up issues without causing a major argument, it builds trust. And this trust, in turn, fosters a deeper sense of intimacy and connection within the relationship. Hey listeners, are you loving the tips and insights from Sex for Saints? Want to apply them to your own life? Join my Embrace You Elite Society membership. In this exclusive membership, you'll get access to personalized coaching, practical tools, and a supportive community of women, all working towards enhancing their intimate lives. Ready to take your intimacy to the next level? Visit amandalauder.com/membership and join today. Let's embrace a more fulfilling and intimate life together. Use the code podcast at checkout to get 50% off your first month. Now back to the show. Okay, maybe you've decided you want to do this. You want to start mining for conflict. There are a few things that you can look for. Number 1 is, after a disagreement, have a reflective conversation about what triggered the conflict and how similar situations can be handled differently in the future. So imagine that you and your spouse had an argument about spending money. Maybe one of you feels the other is spending too much on non-essentials, while the other feels justified in their purchases. After the initial argument has cooled down, you sit down together for a reflective conversation. You might start by saying, I want to talk about our disagreement yesterday about spending money. I realize that we both have very different views on what's necessary and what's not. Can we talk about what triggered our argument and how we can handle it better next time? In this conversation, you both take turns sharing your perspectives. Perhaps your spouse explains that their spending is a way to unwind after a stressful week, and you share that you're worried about sticking to the budget. Together, you brainstorm ways to address both concerns, like setting a monthly allowance for discretionary spending that fits within your budget. This isn't about blaming the other person. This is about really looking at both people's perspectives, what sent the conversation off the rails, and how to bring it back so it doesn't happen again. The second thing is seeking feedback. So invite your partner to give you feedback on areas where they feel improvement is needed. Now, this could be asking for disaster, but if it's done the right way, I think it'll be fine. It could be about communication styles or household responsibilities or even emotional support. So let's say you notice that your partner seems stressed and overwhelmed with household chores. So you decide to seek their feedback on how you can better support them. You might say, I've noticed you've been really stressed lately with all of the chores. Don't say, I've noticed the house is a mess lately. Okay, don't say that. Just say, I've noticed you've been really stressed lately with all of the chores. Can we talk about how I can help more around the house? I want to make sure that we're sharing the responsibilities fairly. Now, your partner might respond that they feel like they're doing more than their fair share of the chores and that they'd appreciate it if you could take on specific tasks regularly. Maybe they suggest you handle the laundry and meal prep during the week. By seeking and acting on this feedback, you're showing that you value their input and are committed to making the partnership more balanced and supportive. Now, make sure that you're not getting defensive when they give you their feedback. That's really important. All right. Number 3, discussing expectations. So have open discussions about your expectations in various aspects of your life together, such as financial decisions, parenting styles, or career goals. Misaligned expectations can be a hidden source of conflict. Now, I like to go with more agreements than expectations, but we'll just use this framing for now. But consider a couple planning to have their first child, okay? So they might have different expectations about parenting roles and responsibilities. So to avoid future conflicts, they decide to have an open discussion about those expectations. Now, one partner might say, I think it's important for us to discuss how we envision our roles as parents. I'd like to share the responsibilities of childcare equally, but I'm also worried about how this will work with our current work schedules. And the other partner might share their thoughts and concerns, perhaps expressing a desire to take on more childcare responsibilities, but also acknowledging the challenges posed by their demanding job. So through this discussion, you can agree on a plan that works for both of you, such as staggering your work hours or arranging for childcare support when needed. But it's about working together so that conflicts don't come up in the future. So let's go through a couple more examples to see how this might look in real life. Now, perhaps you feel like you and your spouse haven't been spending enough quality time together. You could start with, I miss spending time with you like we used to. I know we've both been really busy, but can we find some time each week to just be together and reconnect? Another example would be maybe imagining you and your spouse had a recent sexual encounter that didn't go well, didn't go as planned. Perhaps one of you felt uncomfortable or unsatisfied, leading to feelings of frustration and disappointment. So after some time has passed, right? Don't do it in the moment. You decide to have one of those reflective conversations I talked about. So you might start by saying, I'd like to talk about what happened the other night. I felt like we were a bit out of sync, and I want to understand what went wrong so that we can improve our intimacy. And during the conversation, you can both share your perspectives. Your spouse might explain that they were feeling stressed and not fully present, which affected their experience. You might share that you felt unsure about their cues or how to respond. So together, you can discuss ways to improve communication during sex, such as using verbal affirmations or nonverbal signals to ensure both partners feel connected and comfortable, so the next time goes a little bit better. All right, another example, let's say you've noticed that your partner seems less interested in sex lately. So you decide to seek their feedback to understand their feelings and how you can improve in this area. You might say something like, I've noticed that we haven't been as intimate lately, and I'm concerned. I want to understand what's going on for you and if there's anything that I can do to help. Can we talk about what you enjoy and what might make our intimate moments more fulfilling for you, maybe so that you want them more often? Your partner might share that they've been feeling emotionally distant and need more non-sexual affection to feel connected. They might also express specific preferences or fantasies they've been hesitant to discuss. So by seeking this feedback, you're showing that you care about their satisfaction and are willing to make adjustments to improve your sexual relationship. All right, another example, mismatched libidos. This is a big one, right? So consider a couple, like many of you, where one partner has a higher libido than the other. So to avoid misunderstandings and frustration, they decide to have an open discussion about their expectations about sexual frequency and types of intimacy, what they thought it would be like, right? One partner might start by saying, I think it's really important for us to discuss our sexual relationship and make sure that we're both comfortable with our level of intimacy. I've been feeling like we're not as intimate as I'd like, and I want to understand how you're feeling. Now, the other partner might express that they've been feeling pressured or would prefer more spontaneous, less scheduled sex. They might also share that they need more emotional connection outside of sex to feel ready for it. So through this discussion, they can agree on a plan that respects both partners' wants and desires, such as setting aside time for emotional bonding and allowing for more organic moments. Okay? I I wanted to take a quick break from our conversation to share something really exciting. I'm thrilled to announce my Uplevel Couples Retreat happening in Las Vegas from September 11th to 14th, 2024. This isn't just any retreat. It's an exclusive experience designed for couples ready to deepen their connection and elevate their relationship to new heights. We're keeping it intimate with only a few select couples joining us, so you'll get plenty of personalized attention and transformative experiences. Curious to learn more and see if this retreat is the right fit for you and your partner? Head over to uplevelcouplesretreat.com for all the details and to apply. Don't miss this chance to invest in your relationship and create unforgettable memories together. Now let's get back to our discussion. So when you start mining for conflict, you might find that the initial conversations are tough. But over time, these discussions can lead to a deeper understanding of each other and a stronger, more intimate connection. You're showing each other that your relationship is worth the effort and that you're committed to growing together. Now, remember, the goal isn't to create conflict for conflict's sake, but to really address and resolve the underlying issues that might be hindering your relationship. It's about creating a partnership where both people feel heard, valued, and understood, and then working together to find a solution. So the next time things seem to be going smoothly, take a moment to check in with yourself and your partner. Are there any unresolved issues that need attention? Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. It's through these conversations that we build the trust and intimacy that make our marriages truly special. And if you need my help, my couples retreat and couples coaching are the perfect solution for this. All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.